The big Data Expo, Guiyang, China. Visit here and you'll see why the OECD has predicted 2019 will be the first year China outspends the US on R&D. And you'll see why China is becoming the world leader in technology and innovation.
You see in the tech space, a lot of the innovations coming out of China are being taken and some would say copied by the likes of Amazon and Facebook and Google. So you're definitely going to get more influence from a lot of those Chinese brands and products. And I think it will continue as they expand globally.
But innovation has other dimensions too, like the innovative thinking employed by companies successfully engaging in cross-border trade with China. We're about to meet some of the innovative thinkers and game changers, entrepreneurs and companies who are helping to shape the course of business between Australia and China in the years to come. Shanghai, a city experiencing unprecedented growth for startups. This city, historically a centre for finance and banking, is attracting a new wave of international entrepreneurs, all eager to tap into the Chinese market. Dane Richmond from Australia's Trade and Investment Commission talks to us about the Landing Pads program.
So it's a 90-day program that brings Australian tech startups and SMEs to the market. 90 days sounds like a long time, but I think generally by about day 10 or so, people start to realise that 90 days is a very short amount of time to find your way here in what's a very complicated market. So it's really, to me, it's a window of opportunity.
The Chinese government is trying to build Shanghai as an international innovation hub. So the local government has since then established a series of policy to support foreign startups to come and stay in China. So the ecosystem here is very vivid and which attracts lots of startups, venture capitals all around the world.
You can't really work harder, you have to work smarter, and that requires innovation.
Innovative thinking has brought 2 young Australian entrepreneurs to Shanghai. Their startup is already engaging with the Chinese market and they have plans to take it global.
So my name's Brett, this is my brother Shane. We are 2 founders of a startup called Matrak, based out of Melbourne. We focus on materials tracking in the construction industry through manufacture, delivery to site, installation and QA.
It's definitely way more competitive than what we would be used to in Australia. But I think probably the biggest cultural difference that was quite surprising was just how, in so many facets, China's well ahead of Australia from a tech perspective.
If you come to China, you will soon realize that the market here is moving very fast. So if you don't have a technology which is strong enough to compete with local team, it's going to be very difficult for the Australian startup to survive in this market.
We always saw our initial strategy in China being a channel to market back to Australian builders, being able to help them connect with their clients overseas. But from here, now that we've started doing some partnerships with some of the Chinese manufacturers, it's actually going to be a channel to market to the rest of the world as well. And so a lot of our Chinese customers have clients in the US and Canada, Russia, the Middle East. So it really is kind of the gateway to the rest of the world.
Matrak is a good example of a next-generation startup fostered by Austrade's Landing Pads program. The intention behind assisting these startups is that the combination of Australian thinking and the power of the China market will result in the next unicorn, a startup company valued at over $1 billion, and generate cross-border benefits for both countries. Here in Sydney, we're taking a look at another example of game-changing thinking. When challenged with the question of how to build China-Australia relationships, China-born Australian-educated Ryan Golan has involved himself in a lateral way.
The important thing is people of 2 different countries, and they are the ones that will connect. They are the ones that will do the business. They are the ones that will travel and visit and make friends. And it's important for the civilians to understand each other more. And I think the best way to do it is through the non-political way. And art and culture is the best way.
This passion for cultural exchange took on added impetus when, in early 2019, the Shanghai-based Hurun Report, best known for China's Rich List, launched its international networking club in Australia. Ryan took up the position of Hurun Australia's vice chair.
So Hurun Report was founded by a Western guy, actually. His name is Rupert Hochworth, and his Chinese name is Mr. Hurun. The Hurun Report business got three main divisions. There's the research, there's the new media and event platform, and there's the Hurun investment. If you combine all the Hurun brands and Hurun media, online and offline, and events, we have averaged about 3 billion views a year. So this is an extraordinary platform. It's a very influential and very powerful platform.
Hurun is using this platform to connect people worldwide who are keen to support bilateral relations with China, whether business, social or cultural. Hurun Chair Rupert Hochworth highlighted this prior to the Australian Awards dinner.
What we're trying to do today with our very good friend Ryan and all our friends from PwC and everybody here is we're trying to build a platform of friends. That's how you build trust.
The 4-day Australian event was organised by Hurun Australia and attended by successful business leaders and philanthropists from both China and Australia. Events included a day at the Chinese Festival of Spring Racing and a tour of the visiting Chinese exhibition at the Art Gallery of New South Wales.
The three pillars, in my opinion, is we want to connect people and communities in business, investment being one, in art and culture being another, and then it's about giving back to the community in philanthropy in the third.
The Hurun Award dinner recognised those who've built cross-border Australia-China relationships through philanthropy, art and culture and business.
The event is not about me, it's not about Rupert, it is about a community. It is about a community of people who share the same value and same beliefs. And if we can all unite together and do something great, I think, that is something that we can look back in 10 or 20 years and say, hey, we were part of that team.
E-commerce growth in China has been phenomenal. Nowhere in the world has a larger e-commerce market. By some measures, it's bigger than the rest of the world put together. And it's also disproportionately weighted towards imported products. But although you hear an awful lot about the beauty of e-commerce and things, it's not the silver bullet for brands trying to sell. It's incredibly contested. There are more than 10 million stores just on Alibaba's platforms alone. So you really want to make sure that, one, what you're doing on e-commerce is really well considered and really well supported with the right marketing, but also look at some of the other platforms and some of the other offline channels.
Livia Wang, founder of Access Brand Management, or ABM, is a young entrepreneur on the move. Livia was quick to identify a market opportunity early, and now with the help of parent company Access Corporate Group, is building an insightful and powerful network that markets Australian brands cross-border to Chinese consumers.
We do feel like we recognize one very important thing in the market, which a lot of people neglect, is people to people is actually the key transforming channel for any of the products.
People to people. In the digital age, this is the game changer, and nowhere more so than China. Today, 42% of global e-commerce, more than the US, United Kingdom, France, Germany and Japan combined, takes place in China. Here, the booming middle class, some 400 million people, has embraced social media platforms such as WeChat as a buying tool. ABM identified early that these consumers are looking to purchase brands introduced to them by word of mouth, specifically by someone they trust.
The secret we've discovered is it's all about credibility. So the Chinese consumer has learned over many years the person they can trust most is someone that they know or someone that they believe in, and that's the Daigou. They know them or they know of them. And so the Daigou actually isn't necessarily selling our product, they're selling their reputation, they're selling the belief that other people have in them.
There are 40 to 50,000 of these Daigou or distributors in Australia. As individuals, they make up a trade channel that has traditionally been highly fragmented and disorganised. But ABM has identified, trained and now represents around 1,000 elite Australian distributors who connect with 36,000 resellers in China. In turn, these resellers reach 29 million consumers across China. Here at the ABM Best Future Conference in Sydney, brand CEOs and elite distributors come together to understand the market better. A key theme, personal entrepreneurship, as ABM helps individual distributors think and learn about their business models and marketing strategies to build their own business better.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Let me start by just saying a huge welcome to everyone here today. For those of you I haven't met before, my name's Russell Parker, so I'm the CEO of the Orchard and the Melrose business.
We're on a factory tour of Orchard Foods, an Australian health and wellness company. The tour has been organised by Livia for a group of ABM's elite distributors. Some are streaming live to followers in China.
Our job, therefore, is to arm them with the ammunition to give them the confidence to put their reputation on the line. And so everything we do is about building that credibility. We're a manufacturer, we're a TGA. We let them into the factories. They can take videos, they can meet our head of product, our head of sales, our head of brand. It's all designed to make them feel super confident that they can put their reputation on the line for their customers.
It's very dangerous for a brand just to go alone by themselves and try to find a way in China.
One of the ways that ABM will help us achieve that is by getting through the regulatory system that the Chinese have. It's very different to how we regulate our products here, able to introduce us to key leading retailers and establish relationships with those retailers. They do say not to express within the first 6 weeks.
When Australian companies look to export their brands to China, ABM provides solutions via their distribution network. Vita Glow, an Australian nutraceuticals company, has experienced phenomenal success as an ABM brand partner. During the 2019 Double Six shopping event in China, the company sold in excess of 100 million RMB, or $20 million worth of products in 8 days, through the ABM distributor network.
They're involved in so much, everything from education, so educating the Chinese consumers, trade shows, events, media, any launches.
The key trade show ABM participates in is Data Expo, hosted by Alibaba and held in Sydney and Melbourne annually. It's the largest distributor and cross-border e-commerce trade show in Australia. Here, distributors discover emerging and big-name Australian brands, seek out new products and trends, try product samples and live stream information to their networks in China.
In February 2017, Jack Ma launched Alibaba Australia and New Zealand headquarters in Melbourne. And in the launch event, he said, the clean water, air, soil will be the next goal for Australia. So actually, all the products related to, in this country, related to eating, to drinking, to using on your skin is really well thought about by Chinese consumers.
Is there something you have but other brands don't have? We are looking for those categories. Give me excitement as a consumer.
We just couldn't do it without companies like ABM and Daigous. And in turn, that not only makes money for the country, but that's what funds our new factories, that's what funds our ability to hire new people, that's what funds the R&D we do creating new products. And all of those products go to Australians too, so everyone benefits from the China phenomenon.
And that's the real story. Innovative thinking has pioneered an Australia-China business model that's all about people. Livia Wang and ABM understand that completely, orchestrating innovative distribution, attracting quality Australian brands and promoting them in a highly personal way. It's a win-win strategy for Australian brands and Chinese consumers.
Here
on Sydney's North Shore, a team of business visionaries from China has established Atos, a Forex and CFD service for the Forex market, the largest financial market in the world. And they've done it here rather than China. Mike Thomas, Senior Vice President, explains.
Atos commenced in Australia. It is an Australian company. It has expanded overseas, and the larger operations are now overseas, but it is Australian based. It is very important as part of Atos. The regulatory environment gives confidence to investors around the world that they can invest and trade in a company and their money will be safe.
The rigour imposed by Australia's world-leading compliance and regulation in the financial services industry is key to Atos's credibility on the world stage. Another factor is a company culture that sees past successes as no cause for complacency and values continued hard work as critical to the future of the company. This philosophy is embodied in the company's choice of name, Atos.
The word ethos is a Greek word, means eagle. Our vision is like an eagle to reach new heights and by fearless approach every new opportunities and challenges.
Yeah, we've worked very hard to ensure that we have a superior trading platform, that it provides everything that our investor needs. In addition to that platform, we've provided personal services, we've provided training, we've provided technical analysis.
Atos has used Australia as a springboard to the world, with 3 operations centres and over 20 branches. Apart from the company's head office in Sydney, there's Hong Kong housing finance's settlement technology and London, European headquarters and the head office for sales and marketing.
I have to look at the fairness is implemented in all the stages that Atos interacts with the client. Since the moment he touches our website, from the onboarding process, from the deposit withdrawals, from the claims or complaints that he manages. And so we have to put fairness in all these stages of the process with the client. That's my role as a compliance, that fairness has to be everywhere.
Atos, during the past 12 years, we have expanded our business to over 100 countries and jurisdictions.
The clients know that we're a global company. They have the strength of that. They have the strength of the regulations that we operate in, and they also are tailor-fitted with their local requirements.
The platform is running 24 hours, and we got you can trade from your smartphone. You can use your laptop and desktop, and you can by calling us to place an order. So that's all the services we can provide.
Client satisfaction is achieved by actively combining the best of Chinese management and the Australian working culture. The Atos philosophy also encompasses giving back, investing in the future by identifying and mentoring the next generation of Forex traders.
We have an agreement with top universities in Sydney and in Melbourne to provide training for students who are studying finance at those universities. And this is a great opportunity for these students to participate and learn about finance before they actually enter the workforce. We also have internship opportunities for students who excel, and that further allows them to develop their skills in their transition to the workforce.
Atos's commitment to giving back takes other forms as well.
Actually, I'm a soccer fan. Yeah, so I find the opportunity to invest in CNFC. So we got a front jersey sponsorship with them for Asian Champions League. So we should help Atos expanding our business to Asia. It's a very, very good return.
I think we're very similar companies in the way we look after our customers. We also have the same ambition as it relates to our respective industries. You know, high performance, sport or business are the same. And I think the ability for us to put Atos in front of millions of viewers across Asia is a real big opportunity for them and for us.
As to the future, the company continues to think outside the box by harnessing the best business practices from both China and Australia and applying the rigour of Australian compliance regulations. It differentiates itself daily in Forex and CFD services.
Many investors around the globe do not have those same controls. They look for it and they know that they have it in ATOS with the markets that they operate in. We can take that and export that to other markets around the world, and in China that is something that's quite important to them. In fact, the markets are relying on the Australian experience to look at how they can improve their own markets, so that's something that we can contribute to China.
Innovative thinkers and game changers as company teams or individuals are all playing a part in shaping the Australia-China future. And although global tensions continue to dog the headlines, the real story is there in the trade figures.
For me personally, every day we experience very successful stories, and this is, like I mentioned, it's not just in one sector, but across many different sectors. You only have to look at the trade figures, from commodities, from goods trade to services trade, and it grows year on year. So it just proves it doesn't matter how many negative stories in the newspaper. The fact is the bilateral relationship is growing very strong, especially in trade investment.
So I think this plays right into the hands of Australia's strengths. Australia is seen as an exporter of high-quality products and services. We'll never win the volume game, and I don't think we'll ever win the price game. But what we can do is focus on the premium end of the market. What I want to see in the future is really the higher value-add products, tech services, financial services, asset management, education, the list goes on. And so when people ask me to sort of name a specific sector that's very exciting, I sort of say, well, China's buying everything. And so I think we have a lot of work to do back in Australia to really take full advantage of the growth story that is China.